Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. This is my executive summary for the University of Southern California, Professors Wanda's class 723. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm going to talk a little bit about my grand challenge, which is ensure healthy development for all youth, which looks to address the behavioral health problems that happen amongst young people throughout their childhood and as adolescents. Some of the behavioral health problems are depression, school dropout rate, teen pregnancy, and engaging in criminal activity. One of the ones I'm going to focus on today would be mental health and some of the adverse things that happen within our community. My problem definition is what needs to be done to mitigate the impact of the exposure to adverse experiences of adolescent black males that contribute to their behavioral health challenges. And it, and one of the impact opportunities I'm really looking forward to is targeting young black males who manifest symptoms of behavioral health problems, but they're not diagnosable. Some of the things that could be causing and cause effect within their communities, like police brutality, profiling, things like that, we're going to really look into and try to make it major impact. Some organizations that are doing a good job in this space would be the Confess Project, which is a group of African American barbers who's traveling around the country training barbers how to uh, talk about mental health, how to listen to their customers, how to be a support system because the barbershops in the African American community are safe havens. These things are already happening. And this particular project was started in 2016 that really focuses on barbers being safe havens to talk. The Safe Lab, very interesting company. They are using social work activities and social work skills to be able to uh, identify uh, identify gang violence and by using techniques off of social media. So they're looking on IG. They're trying to find out where the spikes is in gun violence, and then they're using data to formulate a solution using social media. The Boris Lawrence Foundation, which was started by Taraji Henson, who is doing amazing work in trying to eradicate the stigma around mental health issues within the African American community. And we I just saw an interview maybe last week. It was earlier, I think it was in April when I saw it when it came out, where she has started a COVID therapy sessions for free on her website where she's talking to people about mental health and she's have licensed therapists to help her out within the organization. So why did we decide to do the particular design that I'm gonna tell you about in a second? It was as I was reading the Grand Challenge book, I realized that hey, maybe we can do an indicated preventive intervention program because of the family and community issues that's going on, the different profiling that's going on within our communities, the racism, the single family households, all those things that's impacting us. And we can combine it with a universal prevention intervention program, which where we're going to have an ability to track the data for the underserved population to use the data for something special to help eradicate this grand challenge in a later date. Let's talk about some of the criteria. So I got skill building, golf exposure, crisis support, collaborative support, college preparation, all that's going to be entwined into creating this great program. So the skill building is where students will be comfort level with being able to part of the program to prompt some techniques to use for therapy models to teach young men on ways to manage their stress, build communication skills through activities and the mentors and the social worker that's going to be understand some meditation, maybe some peer to peer counseling on their managing their anger. And support from social workers. The golf exposure part is big for me because also we're talking about mental health, but we're also talking about exposure to a game where it's not necessarily a game that African Americans play, and it'll get more in and hopefully translate into more people being able to play the game of golf. Collaborating with the rec centers, the private courses, the public courses, the government agencies in order to build this as a community atmosphere so our students can be able to see what community looks like. The crisis support is hopefully we're going to talk about the coping skills of the mentors to be able to show the students how to do some of those things. And the college preparation is self-explanatory. We're going to try to get as many Black African American students to school as we can. The name of the academy, and we're going to move into my prototype, which is the Mulligan Academy, which Mulligan means a second chance. That's why it's named Mulligan, a second chance with no penalty. And we're trying to make these students focus on starting from the forgetting about the things they did wrong, and let's start from the future. So we'll walk through it a little bit. We go from scene one is got some issues that we talked about earlier. They get in trouble in school. They go to the principal's office. They get to the principal's office, and then the principal decides, hey, I am not going to suspend you. I am going to refer you to a program so you will be able to deal with some of the issues you have, get some skills to develop for yourself in the future. And then he's coming over to, and if you look at scene five, he comes to the program. He gets the introduction of everything that's going to be going through for these 12 weeks from start to finish, what it takes for him to be a Mulligan Academy golf student. And then after the introduction, they'll move over to their social worker. They'll be able to go to group therapy. The social worker will put them all in groups, talk to them at one, find out if we got some issues that they can handle, doing all the things what clinicians do in order to do the personal development and go through it and talk to them. And I feel like that's the only way this program works if we have a social worker on hand to be able to talk about some of these problems and give them development skills to be able to make this successful. After you finish your group therapy and you talk to your social worker, you move over to the golf section of it. You talk to your golf buddy, and your golf buddy is a mentor. He's one of the people that you can talk to, reach out to, try to bond with, so we be able to have a rapport outside the social worker where it's in a fun environment. What we do understand about kids, and especially in the African American community, you combine sports and fun with the person that they can kind of open up and relate to you a little bit. So they'll move over to play quick 9 holes, which is usually about 2 hours, and hopefully within that 2 hours, since the mentor is going to be trained in coping skills and trying to get them to learn these things so they can deal with some of the problems. We're going to be down in scene 11 where they build the bond, and of course, they'll be learning these skills in scene 12. If we move over to scene 13, which is talk about individual, family, and community. So if we look at this scene, we see we're going to do social services and we're going to build those communities and make sure that they got access to all the social services they need to help with their families and them as an individual. We move down to youth services that also help them build up if it's something that we can't do within the program or we learn about something within the group therapy. And we also have family services because we do want this to be one big union where maybe the student can teach what they learn to their parents or to their siblings and bring it and tie it all together. Once you get that through that 12 weeks, we'll have a ceremony process to congratulate the students on how they finished and completed this 12-week program and they get their certificate. We'll eventually bring them back in full circle because of the wraparound services that we provided. We're gonna find out how they doing in school, find out what they're doing in the community, give them awards if we see fit, and then hopefully in scene 19 we can send them back into the school. They're promising students. They're much better, well and equipped to handle the things outside of school that they can do inside of school, so they be able to have a productive student. That was my presentation, my prototype, and I'm looking forward to being able to flush it out a little better and make sure all the design things that we tweak and the update is being properly done. Thank you for listening to my present executive summary of my design criteria.